thewellnesscouch.com, streaming wellness into your lives.
Welcome to 100 Not Out, featuring your hosts Dr. Damien Christoph and Marcus Pearce.
Welcome to 100 Not Out, a weekly show dedicated to helping you master the art of aging well. My name is Marcus Pearce, and I am here with the legend himself, the co-founder of The Wellness Couch and The Wellness Guys. He is one of the megastars of mountaineering. He's Dr. Damien Christoph.
Come on, I've never climbed a mountain in my life.
You're a megastar of the mountain.
Maybe Mount Dandenong.
But we all bow. Yes. We all bow
all
to
do.
the queen of the megastars of the mountain, the incredible, the one and only, the only lady in the world to climb Everest on her 68th birthday. Mm-hmm. She has conquered so many of the tallest mountains around the world. She is a remarkable woman. Yep. The fourth time we have had her on 100 Not Out. It's a beautiful welcome to Dr. Jan Smith. Thanks for joining us, Jan.
Thanks, Marcus.
I want a round of applause. I want the crowd to go
wild.
wild. Like,
it's amazing. It is incredible to have somebody here for the fourth time with us. We haven't had that before. But I think every time we speak to you, Jan, there's another chapter. There's another thing we want to find out. There's more. And another year goes by and we go, I wonder what Jan's up to, you know? And so you really have had a big impact on us and an impact on our listeners too, because they often do ask, what's Jan Smith up to these days? Oh, listen to that episode with Jan Smith. And so it's great to have you here. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Good to be here.
Jan, this is the big one. Last time we spoke to you, you were on your way over to Alaska to climb the seventh mountain, the seventh highest. So you're climbing the seven highest mountains in the seven continents of the world. It was originally by your 70th birthday. That didn't happen, but that didn't stop you. And then you're up to number 7. You're going back for the second time to Denali, the highest peak in Alaska. Please tell us what happened. North America.
Basically, garden fitness didn't cut it.
Well, you were gardening when we spoke to you last time, and we thought that was...
It's a gradient like that. I've been pretty close to the summit. And my legs and my breathing, and I thought, you need an ice axe. It's very steep. Mm-hmm. You're not anchored to the mountain. You're just anchored to your guides. And so if one falls, all go.
Can you imagine?
There's a couple of ridges to cross where you can get blown off. I know people who've been blown off and died. So it's quite... I think it's the second hardest after Everest. I had underestimated it. Mm-hmm. And my guides were not so confident. They had a long line between me and them, so long that when I sat down to rest on a rock and I called it to the guy above, he didn't hear it, and he thought the tug on the rope meant I'd slipped or something, not just sitting on a rock. And the one behind said, I can't go this slow. I get too cold. And I had to say, well, you should wear your suit down like me. Yeah. Being Alaskan and American, of course, they had like 100 layers and they kept peeling them off and so on. So that was a lesson to me. Now I know the gradient I'm aiming for, and they want me to do a bit more training with one hand on the ice axe. You can't have two props. You just have to do it with the ice axe, which is lower. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So as you say this, I'm just going to bring this mic up a bit just so we can hear a bit more. But as you say this, you've already committed in your mind that you're going back for a third time to conquer Denali. You see the conviction in your voice?
Look at that, and the eyes. Yeah, and like vision. It was like doing it. Yes.
I was full of sour grapes at first, and I thought I wasn't happy with my guides for being such wimps, and I thought, I've got my breath now, I'm fine. Why don't we just keep going? No. We just that little lapse of confidence. They lost their confidence in me. Mm-hmm. No, we can't. So we're going to go. Sorry. And one of them said, "Look, I'm crying. Want me to take my glasses off?" I said, "It's fine." Want to give me a kiss? I said, I'm just interested in the summit, really. Don't want a kiss, thank you.
Just want to get to the top. Yes. But it goes to show it's a real team effort to a point. Like it's not all about you and how you're going.
No, it's the guides
about
as well.
Their risk assessment.
That's right.
And everything else on top of that. So you're really in the lap of the gods.
Well, I'm in the lap of the guides. So,
well done.
So they said, "Oh, we'd be disappointed if you didn't choose us." I said, "I'll be back." They said, "Well, we'd be disappointed if you didn't choose us." But when it's just happened like that, and you're bitterly disappointed, you've blown your money.
Trying to talk business right up there. It's
exactly. And so I thought no, but the closer it gets, the more I'm thinking yes, because they know me. Yeah. I forgot to take something or other and I had to hire it. But in the end, we had, I said, it occurred to me not to just be, sulky and so on. and a phrase, a crapshoot, came into my mind. Because one American described trying to climb Choi Yu, which is the other 8,000 metre peak I've done, as sometimes it's a crapshoot. And I thought it's an interesting expression, and I've never forgotten it. That expression popped into mind, and I said to them, you guys know what a crapshoot is. Well, the American did, the Alaskan didn't. But I said, let's have a crapshoot party. It's a crapshoot celebration. You can't have a celebration of a failure, but you can have a crapshoot party.
Absolutely.
That's right.
So the American explained it to the Alaskan, and when we got back to Talkeetna, I took them out to dinner and said, all you can eat and drink on me, blah, blah, because you tried your best and so did I just wasn't fit enough. And then the Alaskan said, I'm Irish descent on both sides and I can drink alcohol.
Do you know what you've just said?
All night. Wait a minute, I should withdraw the offer of the drinks. But we were
normally you say that at the end of the meal, Jan, and they go, oh, if I was going to know.
Yeah, that's right.
But we were so wrecked from getting up at 3 a.m, travelling to the glacier where the ski plane comes and collects you and flying out, such an early start, that by 9 o'clock they were pretty much ready for bed.
Done.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it wasn't to be an all-night drinking session for the Irish Alaskan.
Jan, that's not your only knockback, because there was a time I recall that you climbed a mountain, you got to the summit and you didn't have your helmet.
No, that's this one.
Oh, that is the same one.
It's
It's
been
a
a different trip,
So-
but
But I got quite a bit high this time.
Okay.
I got within sight of the summit, so I could see the gradient.
So
rest
is
of
it the same people, the same guides?
No, I changed
You
companies.
sacked those
They
first
don't-
company.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't even register.
Either they sack me
We won't
or
even
I
say
sack
them, just in case people Google them so they can try them, see if they do a better job.
No.
Not even going to say them.
There is a third company.
Just in case.
I could try that, but then that's unknown. Woman, 71, diabetic, they're going to say you need a private guide, you can't go with a group.
Yes.
And I'm going to have to reassure them and prove myself again. Whereas these guys I've already been with, they had me climbing to the top of the tent. And they're saying, oh, yeah, like if you're down a crevasse and you have to make a rope loop for your foot and step in that, and then you have to push your prosthetic up and it grabs the rope and you climb up. And they said, oh, she did that easier than a 20-year-old. And I thought,
wow.
Yeah, I've done this before, guys.
I know what I'm doing.
It was a bit like teaching your grandma to suck eggs, but you have to get that balance between, yes, I hear what you're saying, but I already know how to do this. Yeah. But
Jan?
I'll train better. I'll train for the steepness, and I'll get my legs. I'll get stronger. I'll do the pulling the truck tire up the hill, the stuff I didn't bother with last time.
You want to beat Lawrence Tam?
Yeah.
You just go and work out with Jan
I'll go
Smith.
work out with... Yeah, that's right. I'm heading down to
Damien, one of
Rosebud, that's
Damien's
right.
best mates, who's one of our teammates on the wellness couch, is super fit, and Damien's working hard to be as fit as Lawrence.
He never was fit. He's just become fit. Yeah. And I used to be fit, and now I want to be fit again. So I'm doing the gardening story. I might be pulling tractor tyres too. We'll see how we go.
It's a pain. you pull them up under the seat chairlift track, which is very steep. It's about 0.8 of a kilometre. My husband walks beside me with a stick, and people look at us and think, what's going on here?
Fred, is he trying to punish his wife?
He does it for show, and he says for a girl who went to a girls' school, you got a surprising vocabulary when you're tired. You're stuck on a tree root or a rock, Well, after doing that, a lot of times, just pulling the sled over ice is pretty easy because it glides, there's no snags.
Yeah. Yeah, that's you train harder, so it's easier on the day.
Yes,
I understand. Yes. Very good, Jan. You did allude to something before. We did speak about your Mars bar fetish, and even off air before we started talking about this, I asked Jan, "How's your diabetes going?" Now you might have seen Jan's fierce determination when she said, "Yes, I'll be climbing the summit again." But she's also got the cheekiness of this kind of younger girl that just wants to buck all the rules, and so Jan with her diabetes. So how you go with your diabetes? Because I'm fascinated, because type 2 diabetes is one of those things that's lifestyle related. You can control it. Jan's managed to control it eating all of the bad things. So Jan, what are you doing with your diabetes at the moment?
I love this story.
I have it under good control.
Okay.
I'm very pleased that they've reduced my insulin, and they think that's about right for my size. And I know all about the diet. I just had too much carbs. I thought you'd just substitute carbs for sugar.
Yes.
But you don't. You then got to think about portion and the amount. And they said, no, you're eating all the right things, but too much at one meal. You've got to spread them over the snacks as well, morning and afternoon tea. So the dietitian was very helpful. And I said, I'm bad in the car, I'll eat a whole bag of nuts or something. She said, no, you just take a portion. You take like half a dozen in a little packet, and that's all you've got in the car. That's all you can eat. Or popcorn, non-sweet popcorn.
Yeah.
You know, you keep
Slightly
eating the
salty.
popcorns. Yeah,
Yeah.
slightly. Yeah, and it lasts the whole trip, you know, all the way from Melbourne to back to Rosebud.
Yeah, and you can keep some in your teeth for later as well.
They do tend to stay in your teeth.
That's right.
You get a bit more value. Now, when is this third attempt? How long are you giving yourself?
Yeah,
what are you planning on?
it goes with the season. So being the continent of North America, Northern Hemisphere, so their summer. So about May, June.
May, June 2016.
Wow, we're going to have Jan on for a fifth one.
time.
Yeah, won't we? We'll have to find out.
We
Hopefully,
might. She can come back via Ikaria and just celebrate with us on the Greek Islands after.
What a great thing.
We'll be in the Greek Islands running a retreat.
Jump in the Mediterranean.
June.
Maybe part of the reason why Jan doesn't want to climb these mountains is so she can come back onto 100 not out.
Probably.
Again, for a fifth time.
Or maybe a sixth time.
That's a cruel way to have to do it, though, isn't it? How high is the summit of Denali?
It's somewhere between 5 and 6. It's not the height so much as it's in the Arctic Circle. It's near the North Pole. I had a near miss with frostbite this year because I followed the Americans, you know, to a T, and I didn't have I had my stuff in my backpack, luckily, because the wind chill is just terrible. And you have to have 3 layers on your fingers. The wind blows between them, and being small, they go first. Yeah. And at one point I said, we're climbing in the wind and snow, and I said, I have to, I'm getting cold, I have to get my down jacket out of my backpack. And they'd said, oh no, you won't need it, send it to the top camp. And luckily I had it in my backpack, as I have on several occasions when the weather's turned. And then once I had that on, I had upper body warmth.
Yeah.
And all the warmth flowed through to my hands, and I was fine.
Goodness.
And I thought I'll listen to myself next time. And that, having the high altitude gloves has stopped me getting frostbite once before too, again with a really high wind chill factor, where other people, had frostbitten hands and I didn't. So it always pays to have your down stuff in your pack, even though it's extra weight and people tell you don't need it, and send it to a high camp. But if you don't have it, you can't put it on.
Marcus, I don't know if you're picking up anything here, but I'm picking
burning question here.
I'm picking up a few things. Well, why don't you ask your question and I'll come back to my points, because I think there's some good stuff.
All right, so you are clearly incredibly resilient. My view,
yes.
My view on resilience is that you don't get resilient out of a cushy life. You only get resilience out of challenge.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go into all the deep and meaningfuls on the challenges in your life. But can you just share with people maybe some of the events that have created this level of resilience? Because I don't know about you, but I'm here in admiration, but also questioning myself in terms of faced with such adversity, like where would I go? Whereas Jan, you seem to have this ability to go, well, you know what, that's happened, but put it away very quickly and then just push on. What do you think has created this? Because I don't think you're born with a level of stoicness. It's clearly developed through challenge.
Yeah, that's what the Greeks thought in the Greek myths about, personality types. They had Hercules, I think, who was exposed to risk, the wild Dionysian mares, and he had serpents put in his prams about.
Yeah. And that's how he grew strong.
Learn how to struggle with them, yes. Whereas Achilles was, dipped in the river Styx, except for his Achilles heel, and that was his Achilles heel.
Yeah.
Yes. So I wasn't. I came from a medical family and had a very healthy upbringing, and I think that's part of the constitutional thing that I like, salads and
Good
vegetables.
answer.
Good answer.
And my maternal side is German, and
Another good answer.
I've met
strength there.
Yes.
I've met some climbers, a 60-year-old woman from Perth, and she just summited one year where I was stuck in a blizzard at the South Col, and I said to her, what do you put it down to? And she said constitution. So I think some of it is constitution from healthy upbringing, lots of running around barefoot, healthy diet, fruit bowl always on the table.
Wow,
beautiful.
And some of the German I've met, we've had family reunions, and they're very strong constitutionally. They're tall and skinny farmers from in South Australia, but I think that strong constitution helps. If you don't have it, you can't substitute it. And apart from that, I've always been a risk taker and a rebel and a leader and a scapegoat at times.
A risk taker. So would you take the risks of climbing up Denali without any real confidence that there's anyone's got your back? Like if you're gone, you're gone.
I probably would. I'm fascinated by Jan. I really love what Jan talks about, and I do take risks. So I'd be the sort of person that would like to follow what Jan's done. I think I'll wait for Jackson to finish school, and then if anything went wrong, then I've got nothing to worry about. But if something, I
get heart palpitations just thinking about it. I've got young kids, 6 and 3 and 1 on the way, and I think of your predicament. You talk about the gradient and just swinging, and I'm just like. But that's me. But I don't consider myself low on the resilience factor. But when I listen to that story, we've all got a different threshold. Some people think of it as, well, it's just what I do. But other people, because my question was going to be, what about the people like me and listeners and viewers going, I could never do that? Doesn't mean that they lack resilience. It's just certain, I suppose, comfort zones. Because you seem to be quite, it's like your backyard. Now that you've been on so many mountains and the rest of it, you don't look at it and go, could die here today. Like, that's not the way.
That's almost a given.
Yeah, so it's not.
Die, and most of them, every year.
Yeah. The stories you told about Everest. I remember you coming down Everest and seeing all of that.
Yeah, all the bodies. That's right. Yes, but Aconcagua too, which I did in the beginning of the year. I think I'd already done that when you rang me. Yeah, with the diabetes, and I was the first on the summit. I was trying to catch up with the leader, and I said to my guide, "I'm trying to catch up with Marcus." The leader, and he said, but Jan, he's behind you. So I was thinking, well,
I didn't tell you that, but that was me. I was the leader.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was the leader.
You could
I just kept that quiet.
Could do this.
Yeah.
But that was after I had to cancel the planned trip in early January last year. I was thinking, well, I won't let the fitness run down and then have to build it up. I'll go from one mountain to the next. So I did Carson's Pyramid in Papua New Guinea, and I wondered why I felt I was so slow at the end and I felt so wrecked. Usually I recover in a day or so, but it took me a few days, and I got a tropical ulcer from the gumboots rubbing where I've been down a number of marshes, and so did other people, mind you. We weren't told to wear football socks, but still. And I got edema, which I've never had when I got back to Bali.
Throw that into the mix.
Yeah.
And then with hindsight, then when I got back, I went to get treatment for the tropical ulcer, a second round of antibiotics, which I didn't need, but I queried it and I said, oh, by the way, will you give me a blood test, do my sugars and cholesterol again? And that's when I found I was 5 times normal.
That's right.
And I went into the Alfred Hospital on Christmas Eve, and they did all the tests and blah blah. And I struggle with denial and grief and rage and all the rest of it. Let me out for Christmas Day, please. And,
not good timing.
No. And they said, no, it wouldn't be advisable to go for the second highest in the 7 range of the 7, which is 7,000 metres in South America. Yeah. Second shot, you don't even know. We don't know what type you've got. You don't know how to manage it. Not a good idea. So I cancelled, and I lost, half my money on that. But a month later, I was in the normal range, and I could manage it. And I had a diagnosis, and I went with a company who knew me, who actually got me to the top of Everest. And they said that was the max. And he said, show me, I told them about hypos, and a little leaflet I read out. I said, never had one, I'm always high, but this is what you're meant to do if I pass out. Give me some jelly beans, blah, blah. And then he said, and then my needle jammed, and they had to, at base camp, Plaza de Mulas, and they had to, these Swiss watchmakers, because they're international groups, they took my insulin pen apart. Said, interesting mechanism. We can see why it jammed there. And they got penknives onto it, and then it's all over the table. And then I got no pen because they couldn't put it back together. So this Max, he said, I'd love to inject you. And I thought, would you? Okay.
Was that his pickup line?
So I bear my only bit of fat I can find, which is around my middle. And they said, don't inject anywhere else. You go straight into muscle and it absorbs too quickly. Mm-hmm. Just stick to the little roll of fat you can find on your belly. Mm-hmm. And so he got going with the injection. He said, I've got one in my first aid kit, which they all carry. And I said, you just rest it on the skin and it sinks in and I won't feel it. But he went a bit rough and I sort of screamed. And we're in the mess tent because it's the only place with light. So I've got the whole team sitting around watching this. And then the next one he did quite well. And then they helicoptered in batch of insulin. So the wrong type. And then they had to helicopter in the second one. I said, I'm not on that. That's type 1. God. That's rapid. I have the long acting.
This is Resilience 101.
Yeah, so this is, the Spanish doctor had a different scale of measuring where you're up to. And I found out that the sea level doctor said, well, you take less insulin with the greater exertion because that burns up more sugar.
Yes.
And I found my blood sugars were going higher and higher the higher I climbed. And I said at one of the medical checkpoints with this Spanish doctor, the blood sugar levels were going up, and we converted it to their scale. And she said, oh no, what happens is the adrenaline kicks in when your brain reads hypoxia, not enough oxygen. Oh. And then that grabs every available bit of sugar to give you a surge, you see. So just take your normal dose. And then I was not fine.
Wow.
And then I was just full of energy, and I was first on the summit, and they reckon I was the strongest in the group. But it didn't matter. Denali people, they still said, no, you'll have to have 2 guides. You can't go with a group, Yeah. And I'm sure that'll happen this year, but I'm just prepared for that.
I can't wait for May, June. I can't wait for May, June this year. And we really look forward to seeing your ascent up the mountain to the top of the summit of Denali. Before you go, I know you have an appointment to go to.
We hope.
Bindi.
Yeah?
You're on here on our 100 Not Out banner behind us. You've got the Bindi on there. You've got the Bindi on today. Tell us...
many journeys to Nepal, which is... it's partly Sherpas and also the Indians. Yeah, and the Indians, I was in India at a conference during Denali, which is their Festival of Lights in November, and I bought a packet of these, and I had the Indian dress on, the Dupati and a shalwar kameez, like the pyjama suit, very flowing Indian woodcut, and then I had a bindi with that, and it just looked right, and then that was more than 10 years ago, I've just kept wearing them.
It's a beautiful look, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
So refreshing.
The Indians love it. Australians, if it's a red one, say, did you cut yourself shaving, love?
You've got something on your forehead.
Yeah. And and people on some tele conferences I do for the court, and I wore it to a Christmas party, and some of the solicitors that I work with in the court there said, oh, that's what that is. We thought it was an insect on your face, get this black mark on the screen. Now we can see what it is. So it's decorative, but it means married woman. The ones with mirrors have reflect the evil eye. It's supposed to be the all-seeing eye of the Buddha. You see through artifice and deceit. So multiple meanings, and it's a conversation piece.
Well, absolutely.
And it covers a frown mark.
Yeah. Well, I think all your frown marks, everything about you, Jan, is absolutely incredible and inspiring. And it's been a joy. This is the 4th time on 100 Not Out, but the first time in person. It's just been great to feel Jan's energy and to feel the enthusiasm and vigour that you have for life, and can't help but rub off on us and our listeners and viewers, and know that everyone whose lives you touch. So thank you so much again for being part of the program. All the very best in Denali in Alaska in May, June this year. And I really look forward to interviewing you again, Damien and I, listening to you say that on your 3rd time lucky,
you did it.
You have scaled Denali, and you have become the only woman in the history of humankind to climb the 7 peaks on Earth.
That we know of.
That we know of. Congratulations in advance. Thanks again, Jan. Thank you, great man, for your wisdom as always. And to you, our listeners and viewers, thanks again for joining us on 100 Not Out. There are a number of ways for you to join the conversation. Go to facebook.com/100 Not Out. Check us out at thewellnesscouch.com, where you can view the entire range of podcasts available. If you'd like to learn more about what Damien does, go to damienkristof.com, and for myself, go to marcuspearce.com.au. Until next week, as always, continue to make the rest of your life the best of your life.
This has been a production of TheWellnessCouch.com. Check us out on Facebook and join in the conversation on Facebook.com/TheWellnessCouch. Subscribe to each show on iTunes and check us out on Twitter. The Wellness Couch, streaming wellness into your lives. Whilst the Wellness Couch presenter endeavor to provide accurate and helpful information to their listeners, these podcasts cannot take into account individual circumstances and are not intended to be a substitute for health and medical advice from a qualified health professional. You should always seek the advice of a qualified health professional before acting on any of the information provided by any of the Wellness Couch podcasts.